Okay, so we continue with our class Laws of Shabbos. Today's class number 45. And we start with Sefer Chafetz Chaim. The title is Torah 7 Conditions. Okay. And today's topic and result. Before I relate negative information, lataelis, we said it's for constructive purpose. One must carefully consider whether or not his words will, in fact, bring about the desired result. Speaking negatively, lataelis is justified only if there is a reasonable chance that the desired result will be accomplished. Okay, so basically, as Rabbi BeEzrat said many times, there is no mitzvah to be stupid. So people can consider and contemplate if whatever he's going to say bring any result. At least is if there is any chance to bring positive result. This point of particular importance when one seeks to discourage a potentially harmful friendship, business association, or shidduch, marriage match. Often the final decision has already been made, and speaking negatively to the other party will serve no constructive purpose. So basically, if they already decide 100%, that's what they're going to do. And if whatever we say, and we think it's for constructive purpose, it's not going to bring any constructive purpose. So basically, there is no reason for us to speak up. That's the thing. Okay. So if you know the person that whatever he or she decide, that's what it is. Okay. So don't speak up. All right. So we stop here. We continue with laws of untying. Okay. So we're on chapter of this part of the chapter that we call as practical applications. So let's see. So the next one, opening parcels. So today our parcels are a little different. This book was written some years ago, but okay, let's see. So basically all of our packages today are sealed with a tape, some kind like scotch tape or like what are this paper tape, whatever, but it's not with a piece of rope, basically. But let's see anyway. Opening parcels. We explained in the previous chapter that nuts is considered permanent and forbidden biblically if it is one of the type that one usually leaves intact permanently. So, meaning that nobody had any intention to untie it. It is considered somewhat permanent and forbidden rabbinically if the one time it intended to remain intact for 24 hours. Okay, so this one is forbidden rabbinically. Okay, now there is most of the people who receive tied up parcels do not bother to untie the knot, but merely cut the string. Therefore, a knot on a parcel must be considered a permanent one. Accordingly, one could receive a parcel that is not knotted, should not undo the knot on Shabbos, but should cut the string in a destructive fashion. For example, if one purchased boxes of matzahs that were tied up and knotted, he should not undo the knot on Shabbos or Yom Tov, but should cut the string destructively. Okay, so that's basically what they're saying. Box of matzahs. So, for example, if you buy something like from what is it called? This from like bakery, right? So that they tie this. Many times they do double knot. So basically, don't try to untie it. It is forbidden. Cut off the knot, and that's it.
Wait, Rabbi, question. Are scissors muksa on Shabbos?
Scissors, no.
No.
Actually, the scissors is the most important tool on Shabbos, because I'm going to explain you why. So many times when we said, for example, that you have to open something destructively, you have to destroy the package. So on one hand, you have to destroy the package. For example, you want to open a box of cookies, right? Like cardboard box of cookies, right?
Yeah.
So you said you said before you're not allowed to open from the top, right? Because it's glued, so you're not allowed. So glue it's sewing, so you're not unsew double quote to open from the top. But you can open. I mean, it's a Shabbos necessity, so you can open, but you have to destroy the box. So you have to cut like lengthwise and widthwise. So basically, that after whatever you do, you're not going to use this box second time. You're going to throw out. So the best way to use scissors. Otherwise, if you try to do knife, you can damage things. Or if you try to rip without, like with your hands, you can damage the letters. So, but with the scissors, you can do precise job.
Since you mentioned cardboard, so the malach of soaking, does it apply to cardboard as well?
Usually not, and I tell you why, because it is disposable. You're not going to squeeze it, for example.
So basically, the only reason there's malacha against soaking is because we have a problem with wringing, correct?
Yes, yeah, and or laundry or clean it.
So basically, I'll say it this way. Let's say on Shabbos, right? Let's say I'm washing my hands. Like, I know it's okay to wash them in a towel. I completely understand. But let's say I'm washing my hands and some of the drops get, let's say you're getting out of your bed, okay? And you take the bucket, so on and so forth, on your bed. And then from your hand, some of it drips onto the blanket. That's okay?
Yes, that's what was not your intention. Right, and plus it's not, try not to drip, but if few drops fell, there is no problem.
So also I know that we're not allowed to put a towel over let's say a vessel, right, with water inside of it, correct?
Towel. Yes, because the towel might fall into the vessel. Okay, yes.
So let's say I have a small bencher, right? And I put it on top, and I put a towel on top of that. Is that allowed or no?
Could you say that you have a small what?
Bencher, like a small sitter with, Berkes Hamazon.
Okay, all right. I somehow I thought that I misheard you. Okay, so you have a bencher, and then what?
Then I put like a towel on top, right?
What do you mean to cover the bencher?
I'll explain to you why. I'll explain. So let's say my vessel, right? Let's say it doesn't completely cover the vessel. It covers 70-80% of it. Okay? Is that okay, or do I have to cover the other 20%?
Why? I apologize. I'm not getting. Why do you need to cover to begin with? You have some vessel with water. Why do you need to cover it? I don't understand why.
Because overnight, on Shabbos, overnight to wash your hands.
Oh no! You don't. No. Only the water, the water that you're going to drink, you need to cover.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. The water I'm using. Oh, only water you drink. Okay.
Yes. Only for
Got it. Okay.
So when this example that you give, right? So this towel or whatever is covering the vessel with water. It was in I don't know, like to see the change very much, basically. So some years ago, and now still in Israel, right? How do they wash the floors, right? They have everywhere they have stone floors, right? So in order to wash the stone floors and like marble and stuff like that, or even tiles, so that they need to use a lot of water, right? So they wash with a lot of water. So they put like a bucket of water, and we BeEzrat and start like washing away. Understand? So so I saw many times So whatever we discuss here, so in Israel many, many times, I have a bucket of water, clean water, and on top of this rug that they would clean the floor with. So if it's a dirty rug, so if it fell into the bucket, nobody is going to wring it. You understand? But if it's as you said, if it's a towel and I put it like above this bucket and now it fell into the flour, so I'd be tempted to wring it. You understand? That I think that's a good example. So they still use so today we have like a wooden floor. We could like all of the chemicals with a spray around, like all of this fancy thing. But yeah, okay.
Continue. What's it called? Yeah, one more thing. Does the malacha of soaking apply to something that's already soaked? For example, let's say I had a vessel, right? And my towel did fall into it, let's say, okay? Now, the thing is, I still have to use this vessel. So, am I allowed to pour water into this vessel still? Even though the towel is already soaked, am I still allowed?
So one more time, let me repeat your example. So you have some vessel and you have some towels, let's say, right, in the vessel.
Yes.
So your question is if you can put extra water to that vessel.
Correct.
I don't think it is any issue. Why? Because these towels are not going to get any cleaner or any like more wet.
Understood.
Okay. So all right. So let's continue. So next. So next example, hair ribbons. Right. One must be careful when tying ribbons in the hair, not to fashion a forbidden knot. So for girls, right? So they tie this over the hair ribbons, not to fashion forbidden knot. So basically, I think they would do knot in a bow. That's what I think. But I'm not an expert in this. Okay, so gotta be careful. Next one, neckties. There are two different methods, as we said before, right? There are two different methods of tying, making necktie. Ties. One of which is permitted, and one other questionable. If the knot is fashioned in such a way that when the narrow end is pulled out, the knot is left behind. No knot is left behind. There is the remainder folds come apart with a single tug. It is considered like a bow and may be made on Shabbos even if it is remained intact indefinitely. So let's try to explain. Even though we spoke about it, but so if you tie your knot, if you tie a tie in such a fashion that if you tag this the shorter, the thinner end, right, and this is going to come undone, so you can tie it on Shabbos basically. So this. That's the only knot that I always remember how to do. This fancier one, I have to like see the video and stuff like that to remember. But this is very simple. So, and it is allowed, no problem. So it's very interesting since it is not professional and it's and it's easy undone. So they say even if it's going to remain indefinite, so you don't have to untie it. So you have to untie it only just to remind ourselves something that is more like professional, more like more permanent stuff, right? That is not going to undone by itself. Continue. Yeah.
So over here, what's it called? Since it's talking about knots. So for example, with the shoelaces, right?
Yes.
Or any double knot. Okay. So let's say there's a double knot and you untie it, right? You have to tie it back within 24 hours on Shabbos, correct?
No. Let's talk about a specific example. It would be easier. So let's take shoelaces. Why would they do double knot first of all?
No, I'm saying let's say there is a double knot and you untie it.
Okay, no. One second. So if it was okay, that's exactly what our subject is. So if it was double knot, whatever is it, right? Whatever, that doesn't matter what. It was a double knot. You're not allowed to untie it.
One second. Shoes. One second. Wait. I was wrong. One second. It is forbidden to untie laces that were tied in a double knot or in a bow knot for more than 24 hours. It says.
So if it was tied for more than 24 hours, then what? So on another example, what I was saying. So if somebody just tied, forget about shoelaces in general, with no intention to untie it. No intention. So you're not allowed to untie it, even if it's less than 24 hours.
My question is more so like this. So it says it's okay to untie a double knot if you're gonna tie it back in 24 hours. That's what it says. Okay.
Untie if you're going to tie it in 24 hours.
Page 219, D.
Which one? C? D?
D.
Okay, D. Okay, so let's read it. It is forbidden to untie laces that were tied in double knot or the bone knot for more than 24 hours, except in cases of necessity or physical distress or extreme above. It is forbidden to untie laces that were tied double knot or bone knot for more than 24 hours. So it was basically, let's say it was, they were tied before Shabbat for more than 24 hours. So you're not allowed to untie it. But we said before, if you tied, you yourself, right? So you tied it on Shabbat, even let's say accidentally. So you were to pull in this, one of the laces, you didn't look, and it was tied on double knot, happens from time to time. So in this case, you would be allowed, even though it's less than 24 hours, because it was unintentional. Or if it was intentional, if you tied intentionally, as we said, for a little child, right? Because it was continue untying. So you tied intentionally for double knot. So you're allowed to untie in 24 hours.
My question is like this. It says you have to tie it back within 24 hours, correct?
That's it's forbidden to untie the laces with a tied knot in a bow for more than 24 exact cases of necessity and distress. Okay. However, if the person did not intend, I don't see what you see tying.
I'm saying you untied it on purpose. Over here it says specifically, if it is forbidden to untie laces, for more than 24 hours in the case of a double knot. That's basically what it says.
Okay.
Yes. So my question is like this. So because you have to tie it back, is it okay if I tie it?
Why? I don't understand. So let's say if it was double knot, let's say it was double knot, and you're allowed to untie it.
Yeah.
For example, examples that I gave, you're allowed to untie that was unintentional. It was by accident, and you're allowed to untie it. Okay, go ahead.
I'm saying intentional.
Intentional, if he that's better example. So if he tied intentional and he did not have any intention to untie it.
No. My question is, if it was already tied before Shabbos, it was tied on Shabbos, right? And you untied it on Shabbos. Okay, you have to tie it back within 24 hours.
No. You don't have to tie it back.
Over here it says explicitly, you have to tie it back within 24 hours. It's forbidden to untie laces for more than 24 hours. That's what it says.
No. 1 second. One more time, slowly. It was forbidden. It is forbidden to untie laces that were tied in double knot or the bow knot for more than 24 hours. So if they were left tied for more than 24 hours, so you're not allowed to untie it. That's the explanation of this phrase.
Yes. But I'm saying you're allowed to untie them for less than 24 hours. That's what it says.
No. Untie. Okay. So when it says untie, that does not mean that you must tie it after that. You misreading it. So here we go only one way to untie. That's it. We're not talking about time after that in a period of 24 hours. I understand what you're saying, but it's not what it says here.
Okay. Understood.
I have some here.
Go ahead. Yeah, what is it, Israel?
I have an example about the seed. For example, the weather was very cold and it was launched clean before Shabbat, but the weather was too cold and the water did not reach on time to evaporate. So the seed suit was in a knot, and you forget, and Shabbos came. Are you allowed to untie? It's difficult to untie.
I didn't get what
the strings of the seed are tied before Shabbos.
I want to say not tied before Shabbos, not tied.
Yes, tied.
Tied. Okay, tied.
And you forget to untie before Shabbos.
One second. Why do you need to untie them? If they were tied, why do you need to untie them? I understand.
You tie them to avoid when it is on the washing machine, to avoid to miss up.
I see. But you I see. Okay. Okay, usually what we do to, okay, I see what he's saying. So, okay, all right. So you tie them all together, right?
Yes.
So there would not be a ravel. Okay. I see what he's saying. Okay. But how you tie them in a single knot or double knot?
Single, but it's difficult to untie.
No, single knot. I see what he's saying because they're like ragged. They're not smooth. So it is difficult to untie. Okay, I see. No, it's still a single knot, so there is no problem. You can untie it. So basically, what we do, I'm going to tell you what we do. There is a special bags, let's mesh bag, like with like mesh, like net, like tiny net, and you put there, and it washes very good and does not do anything to the strings. So if you want, Plena, just remind me after the class. I'm going to send you this bag. I'm sure you can buy it somewhere. It's very inexpensive, but it does the magic.
All right.
Otherwise, this washing machine, they can rip off the tzitzis for sure. It can destroy them. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay. So going back to David's question, so it does not say that you have to tie it back in a period of 24 hours. You understand?
I understand it now. I just had to read it 10 times. It's okay. It's good now. Thank you.
No problem. That's okay. Okay, so all right. So let's go to so we continue with these neckties, okay? However, if knot is left behind after the narrow end is pulled, right? It's Windsor or Windsor or whatever this fancy schmancy knot, right? Pulled out. The tie is always the tie should always be undone within the 24 hours. Some poskim rule, however, that the necktie may be fashioned in any manner. Okay, so I think I'm not sure. I don't think we follow this opinion, but basically, let's go by the most stricter opinion. So if you have this fancy schmancy tie, that if you pull one, it's not going to untie it completely. Something is going to be left behind. So in this case, you have to untie 24 hours. Same as we said with double knots. Okay, continue. Next one, H, is tying and untying bags. Okay, so that's, I think it's very practical. When closing plastic bag, for example, for a food storage bag or a trash bag, on Shabbos, one must bear in mind that many common methods of tying bag are forbidden. Some of them biblically. So that's serious business. So you have to like switch your mind from your everyday activity to Shabbos mode. So okay. So number one, it is forbidden to gather two ends on the top of the bags and tie them in double knot. So as we usually have, like the shopping bag, you do top 1 and 2. This would be forbidden. It is forbidden to gather the top of the bag and tie it into itself in a knot. So I mean, I showed you, but I can get that back. I think I have plastic bag somewhere. 1 second. I get plastic bag. I'll show you. So if you have this plastic bag, so example number 1 would be you tie like this. 1 knot and then another knot. So this double knot is forbidden. So example number 2. Example number 1. Example number 2 was you have this plastic bag and you tie like this. Tie like this, basically, that's it. So this knot is also forbidden biblically. Example number 3, it is forbidden to tie a trash bag with a single knot and a bow, even if one intends to untie it within the 24 hours. Since the trash bag are often left tied permanently. So he's very clear. I mean, even though you said, no, I'm not going to untie it, it's still forbidden. I think in this, it would be rabbinically, because you have intention to untie it, but since most people do not untie it, or the guy would be lazy, stuff like that, he would throw out like this. That's the issue. Okay, number 4. It is forbidden to tie a food storage bag with a single knot and a bow, unless one specifically intends to undo it within the 24 hours. So, for example, I would say if it's a bread, for example, so it would be easy to remember. I mean, you're going to eat bread for milava milk, let's say. Right, so it would be easy example, but otherwise, I mean, it's only in cases no necessity. Okay, this specific the specific intent is necessary because such a bag are usually left knotted for more than 24 hours. So I mean, if he's I'm not sure what kind of food that he's not going to eat anytime soon, for more than 24 hours, so that would be problematic. Continue. The only permitted way of tying the trash bag or the food storage bag may remain not tied for more than 24 hours is by gathering the two ends on the top and tying single knot. See below concerning twist tie. So basically in one knot, that's the only way that we can tie these food bags or garbage bags. So even one knot, yeah, I would say it's enough, like to stay for now, right? Continue. It is forbidden to untie any knot that it would be forbidden to tie. I'm sorry. It is forbidden to untie any knot that it would be forbidden to tie. So it's a general rule. Whatever you cannot tie, you're not allowed to untie. That's a general rule. Thus, one may not untie food storage bags whose top was gathered together and tied into single knot. So whatever this second example that I show you. So if you have like your challah, your bread was tied this way, the only way is to cut off the knot completely. Basically destroys the knot or leave it there, just cut below the knot. One whose top was tied within, one second. That's when my not untied food storage bag, whose top was gathered together and tied into itself single knot. One whose top was tied with the two ends gathered together in a double knot, like first example that we show, right? Double knot. And one that was tied in a knot in a bow that was intended to remain intact for more than 24 hours. So all of these are problematic, so you cannot untie them. If back is tied if back is tied with one of these knots, one should tear the back in destructive fashion. As we said, just destroy the back. However, if there are letters on the pictures printed on the back, one must be careful not to tear them. So as we said before, in the beginning of the class, if you use the letters, the scissors, the scissors, it is the easiest way to ensure that you, on one hand, you're destroying the package. On one hand, on another hand, that you don't cut, like rip through the letters or pictures. Okay. Next one, plastic twist ties. So twist ties is like you have this piece of like I don't know what it is, like wire, and then you tie. According to some poskim, it is permitted to use a plastic twist tie to close back on Shabbos. However, other poskim forbid this since the ends of the tie remain firmly fastened to each other. Through the twisting. And as mentioned in the beginning of the previous chapter, twisting the strands together tightly is considered form of time. So I think I showed you before, but I think I have this thing here. 1 second. So we're talking about this. You see this thing? So if you twist it like this, like many times, right? So I mean, it's good. It's going to stay this way. It's not going to be undone by itself. So many poskim said that it's like a tiny knot. Even though there is no knot, but end result is the same. That it's not going to be done by itself.
I have a question for that. Is according to the material, because that is kind of some strong wire.
Yeah, it is a wire, right? Inside there is a wire.
For example, in a bag it's easier to twist and untwist, but that wire is specifically is more difficult if you twist too many times.
No, but that's things were designed to stay in place. Doesn't matter what they made of. Even sometimes it's a wire, a little wire in the paper. It's here's the plastic. That's a good one. But they have wire in like paper. But still, the end goal is to keep it sealed. So it doesn't happen.
The doubt is about the example. Our partner here say the other day about a bag of bread to twist it and put it upside down, with the weight of the bread, leave it there. Is that is okay to do that?
Yeah, that's what we do. Yes, that's the perfect way.
Right.
That's because there are no nuts. You just leave the back and that's it. It's open.
Because it's at least it's one twist of the bag.
Well, even there are no twists. You just turn it around like this. I'll give you an example. So this is the back. Let's say. Show me my fancy back.
A bag of bread.
So yeah. So you have bread here. So you twist, and then you put underneath.
Yeah.
That's it. So that's a perfect way. It's not going to get undone by itself, never. You understand? So there are no nuts at all. So that's the perfect solution. Okay. Okay, so 1 second. So continue with twist and tie. Okay, so let me look again. However, other poskim forbid this, since the ends of the tie remain firmly fastened to each other, through twisting. And as mentioned in the beginning of the previous chapter, twisting strands together tightly is considered a form of tying. A simple way of avoiding this prohibition, according to this poskim, is to fasten the tie by winding it tightly around the back several times, rather than twisting the ends of the tie together. So what these people, what these poskim who forbid this, they say, okay, you have a bag. Let me show you. They have this bag, so they say, do it like this. Do it like this, like over and over, like around. If you go around a few times, so basically, okay, it's going to stay this way, but these ends are not tight. Basically, you see, you just leave them like that, and there is no problem. You understand? So that's a solution. Continue. Bandages. Okay, so we learn about bandages. Very interesting. The whole chapter was. If the bandage must be tight. Oh no, here we're talking about a different bandage. If the bandage must be tied on Shabbat, it should be tied with a single knot and a bow, with intention to undo it within the 24 hours. See page 77 for discussion of other methods of fastening bandage. Obviously, however, if the life-threatening situation, any necessary knot may be fashioned. So, okay, so we're talking about bandages. Somebody have a wound, so they have put a piece of gauze and stuff like that. Just trying to do one knot and a bow and try to untie it within the 24 hours. Okay, that's the solution. Next one, the kerchiefs. A woman may tie a kerchief on her head on Shabbos with a knot and a bow, or with a loose double knot. However, when removing the kerchief, she must undo the knot rather than slip the kerchief off, since it is forbidden to make knot and a bow that remained intact longer for 24 hours. So basically, when women put this kerchief on top, right? So they have like they tie here, or I don't know, they tie behind, whatever the style they use. So they have to do one knot and a bow, or loose double knot. That's some of them do. But remember to untie it in 24 hours. Basically, that's the thing. Okay, continue. A woman may not tie kerchief with a tight double knot, except in the cases of necessity. For example, strong wind, where the other knot will not hold the kerchief in place. In such a case, too, the knot must be undone within 24 hours. So it's very possible that it's very strong wind, and she's afraid that it's going to be blown away. So she does the double knot. Okay. Next one is a crib bumpers. One who needs to tie a bumper on a crib on Shabbos should tie only single knot in a bow, and should be sure to undo the knot within the 24 hours. Alternatively, one may tie it within a double knot without any knot, double bow, without any knot underneath the bows. One who needs to untie the bumpers on Shabbos must first ascertain that the knot is not the one is forbidden to untie. So basically, you have this baby, right? And in a crib, and there is bumpers like these soft things, and you can tie them, you can untie them. So you have to make sure that if you want to tie, you have to tie only in a single knot, or a single knot in a bow, but make sure that you untie them. Or if you want opposite, if you want to remove them, so make sure that this knot is the one that you can actually untie. Okay. Next one, bead games. Children often make necklaces by threading strings through the beads. It is forbidden to tie a single knot at each end of the string. So I mean, meaning the intention of this single knot of these beads, so that they make necklaces, right? So it's going to stay. So of course, it is forbidden. It is permitted, however, to make a slip knot in each end. When the threading is complete, the end of the necklaces may be tied together only in a single knot. and a bow that will be opened within the 24 hours or within with a double bow. Okay, so that's when they finish playing. I mean, when she wants to wear this necklace, so she has to tie only with a knot and a bow. But I guess that's my understanding. If it's short enough, right, and if she tied like short enough, she cannot take it off without untying. That would be the best. So because she would for sure untie it before removing it. One must also be careful not to untie any forbidden knot and necklace made on Shabbos. Okay, so whatever it was, you cannot tie. For example, it was tied in double knot or a single knot on the strand itself, so you're not allowed to untie it. Okay, so and the last one in this book is lulav. Of the 4 species that one must take in hand on Sukkot, the lulav, esrog, hadassim, and aravos. It is customary to dye the 3 together, lulav, hadassim, and arava. In the event that one did not tie them together, there is before the festival began, he may not tie them with a knot on Yom Tov, since this particular knot is commonly left in place permanently. The only practical possible way is to bind the pieces together, to wind in a strap, meaning around them, and tackle the ends of the strap to hold them in place. So basically that's, so you have 4 species. You have lulav, you have aravas, you have hadassim, right? So, and the halacha is that they have to touch each other. So Sephardi custom, they tie together, literally tie together. But Ashkenazi custom, we don't tie together. We put it, we create the holder from the palm leaves itself. They create beautiful holder, and they like three compartments. Put lulav on top, on the sides you have hadassim and aravos, and then you're good. So you don't have to untie anything. So that's the solution of the issue. Okay. Any questions on what we said?
Yes. I didn't get the concept there about what object. Okay,
I'm going to explain right now in a second. So on Sukkot, actually it's coming with Sukkot. So you have to take in your hand 4 species. One is esrog, like a lemon, right? Citrus, and then palm branch, and then two other species. So you have to tie them you have to hold them together, and together halacha is they have to literally touch each other. They tie. I have to touch lulav basically. So there are some customs, Sephardi custom, they do not use holders. They literally tie them together, right? But Ashkenazi custom, we keep them separately, but we use holder. So you put in holder 1, 2, 3, and you hold it. And when you don't need, you can remove from the holder, put in the water and stuff like that.
All right.
Okay. So let's start. We start in next volume, Baruch HaShem. So we finished volume number 1. So we start in volume number 2. Okay, so let me at least we're going to read 39 melachos. We said many times, we repeated the concept of 39 melachos, but we never list them in any kind of order. So here's the list of 39 melachos. So one is sowing, right? Number 2 is plowing. Then reaping, then gathering, threshing. So it's all about this herbs, right? 6 is winnowing or making bread. 7 selecting, 8 grinding, 9 sifting, 10 kneading, 11 baking, 12 sharing, 13 whitening, 14 disentangling. That's what we just finished, I think. 15 dyeing, 16 spinning, 18 mounting a wrap, warp. Sorry, it's when you're making your own like fabric, right? 18 setting two handles, 19 weaving, 20 are removing threads, 21 tying, 22 untying, 23 is sewing, 24 tearing, 25 trapping. I mean, trapping meaning any animals, right? 26 slaughtering, 27 skinning, 28 salting, 29 tanning, 30 smoothing, 31 cutting to size, 32 writing, 33 erasing, 34 building, 35 demolishing, 36 extinguishing, 37 kindling, 38 striking the final blow, right? And 39 taking out from the main to the main. Okay, so that's it's our, I would say, like a roadmap. Some of them, some of this we actually finish in the previous volume. Some of them. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to skip the introduction. Okay, so we have some like 10 minutes or so. Okay, we have 10 minutes. So let me start next milacha. That is called zoreya, sowing. Okay, the Av milacha. Zoreya sowing is one of 39 milachas that are forbidden on Shabbos. Sowing was required in the Mishkan. Herbs were planted in order to provide the raw material for the production of the dyes used for coloring the tapestries. Okay, so it's very simple. So let's explain. So some actually connected to the bread. So making the bread of the Beis Hamikdash, but in the Mishkan. But here we explain in is context of making dye. So dye to meaning like the paint to dye the materials, right? So first you have to sow into the ground, right? Okay. Number two, definition. So you sowing means sowing the seeds into the ground. Okay. The melacha of zoreya, sowing, is defined as any activity that causes to improve the growth of the plant. So very interesting. So everything that you do to improve the growing of the plant is considered this melacha sowing. Okay. Number three, amount required for the prohibition. One transgresses melacha of zoreya, sowing, by planting or improving the growth of even a smallest seed or a plant. Doesn't matter, the smallest seed of the plant, that's enough to get like a chorus, basically. Number four, at what point does the melacha of sowing take place? Okay, so it's very interesting, continue. There is a dispute among the authorities when the melacha of zoreya, sowing, is transgressed. Some authorities rule that one transgressed melacha of zoreya, sowing, as soon as he places the seed on or in the ground, in places where it can germinate. Even the seed is subsequently removed or blown away by the wind before the actually germinates, the prohibition has been transgressed. So let's start here and explain. So they say when this melacha is taking place, so you have a little seed or whatever seed is it, right? And if you put inside of the ground, you have a hole in the ground, or you put on top of the ground in a place where it's actually where it can germinate, maybe that it starts like rotting and it can produce something, right? So basically, if you put it on the top of the asphalt or on a cement road, right? So of course it's not going to germinate there, right? But so you did not you did not, in some sense, you did not transgress this melacha unless it was a wind, and wind blew this seed, right, and it blew it to the earth, right, where it can actually grow things. So that would be the problem. Okay. So the authorities argue. Some say as soon as you put like on top of the soil when it can germinate, you transgress the melacha. Others say not so fast. Okay, so let's see. Other authorities rule that it does not transgress the melacha unless the seed actually germinates. So others say no, maybe it's going to germinate, maybe not. This occurs on the third day after it has been placed in the ground. Very interesting, right? So they know that it's on the third day. Although it is no longer Shabbat at the time, the transgression takes effect retroactively to the time he places the seed in the ground on Shabbos. So basically, many melachas, like you did it on Shabbos or you not did it. But this melacha, I would say, is some kind of exception. So even though, according to this authority, so if you just put it on a let's say you put it on a cement road, right? Of course, it's not going to germinate. It's nothing going to happen. But if wind blew it, right, on a soil where it can germinate like 3 days later, right? Let's say 3 days later, so he breaks Shabbos retroactively, right? If, however, the seed is removed or blown away before it germinates, the melacha is not transgressed. So according to these authorities, there is no guarantee that something is going to happen to the seed. I mean, if it's on top of the very dry soil, right? There is no rain. I mean, it's going to stay on top. That's it. Nothing is going to happen. Okay. Since this dispute pertains to the Torah prohibition, we rule stringently. Therefore, one must assume that placing the seed in or in the ground on Shabbos, in a place where it can germinate, transgress Torah prohibition. So, okay, so we have two different opinions. One is more lenient, one is more strict. So, since it is Torah prohibition, we always, when it's we have this rule. If it's a Torah prohibition involved, possibly, we go on stringently. If it's a rabbinical prohibition involved, possibly, so we go leniently. That's the general rule of the Torah. Of course, there is exception, but the general rule. So since it is a Torah prohibition, possibly, right? One violates the Torah, one possibly violates Torah prohibition. So we say as soon as he put this seed on top of soil, that's it. He violated the melacha. However, since some authorities rule that the prohibition not transgress until the seed begins to germinate, one should remove the seed immediately after Shabbos and thereby prevent the transgression according to those authorities. Okay. So we have a few minutes, so I'll continue. Number 5, included in this melacha. Following types of activity are included in this melacha. So number 1, initiating growth. Right, initial step that you put the seed into the ground. Number 2, promoting growth, watering plants. So when you water plants on Shabbos, so that's also this melacha sowing, right? And number 3, protecting growth. So protecting, we're going to see what is protecting is, right? Okay. So number 1, initiated growth. Well, you know what? Actually, the time is almost up. So we can stop here. Basically, if you have any questions, let's answer the question because it's separate thing. I don't want to leave it.
I have one for the watering plants. It's not also. It's also violating the laws or the code of laundering?
Yes. So
it's
you're
double violation?
Yes, it's a Torah violation, yes.
But is it double because you are also cleaning the plant?
You clean the plant?
Yes, by watering the plant.
No, you don't care about cleaning. You're not. So basic idea. You're not allowed to promote growth. Well, promotion growth is, for example, I give you an example. So if you move it on the sun, it was in a shadow, but this plant needs a lot of sun. So if you move it to the sun, if it's allowed. It's in your backyard, in your balcony. There's no problem to move it from place to place, right, on your balcony, right? So you move it from shade of right to sun, shade to sun. So that's a promotion of the growth without water. That's also forbidden.
Oh.
And we know if you water if it's very hot, you water the plant, it grows better. Everybody knows that. Or whatever you do, or you put some stick, you see that it's falling on the side. So you put some stick in the ground and to make it stable. It's also forbidden.
Yes. I thought you were also cleaning the plant by watering it.
There is no problem. I mean, we said that the cleaning things, laundry, but it was our previous, some time ago we learned. It's only about the things that people usually clean, like clothes or like other things. But,
and cups, for example. Cups.
Say it again. Cups, yes, yeah.
Also forbidden.
Yes. No. It is allowed. You're allowed to wash dishes on Shabbos.
Oh. Okay.
You're allowed to wash dishes on Shabbos, but only with cold water and without sponge. So basically, wash it with your hand.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other questions, David? Any questions? Okay, so if no other questions, we can stop here and until tomorrow, BeEzrat HaShem. All right, so tomorrow I think we'll also do 4 p.m. BeEzrat HaShem. All right, so take care, have a nice day, until tomorrow.
אני מברך את הרבנים, רגע. אני מברך את הרבנים, הרב ירון ראובן, הרב אפרים כחלון, ראשי ארגון בעזרת השם, שהלכו בפי עליון, שעלו מעלה, יהיה להם ברכה והצלחה, הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא בישועות ליבם לטובה ולברכה, שבכל אשר יפנו ישכילו ויצליחו, יזכו עוד לעשות כאלה וכאלה, הודיעו תורה לאדירה, אמן ואמן.
בעזרת השם רשת בכל הארץ. הוא היהודי הזה, הוא היה מיליונר, סגר את כל הביזנס, אמר אני משקיע פה בעולמה של תורה.
איפה הוא גר?
בפלורידה.
איפה זה פלורידה? באמריקה.
במיימי. כן, ליד. אנחנו שם עכשיו הולכים להקים קהילה ספרדית.
חזק אותו בשמי.
קהילה ספרדית גדולה.
תעבירו מה שבירכתי אותו.
כן, קהילה ספרדית גדולה.